here and...
Mr. Chairman, point of inquiry.
Mr. Chairman,
If
the ladies recognize...
If the gentlelady wants to hear from Hunter Biden, we can hear from him right now, Mr. Chairman. Let's take a vote and hear from Hunter Biden. What are you afraid of?
Hold on. Order.
Are women allowed to speak in here or no? Are women allowed to speak in here or no? Could you keep interrupting me?
I'll interrupt the chairman. I don't know that he's a lady.
I think that that Hunter Biden should be arrested right here, right now, and go straight to jail.
Hey, Patriots. Welcome back to the channel where we speak the truth, defend the Constitution, and call out the hypocrisy in Washington, D.C. If you're as fed up as I am with the double standards for the political elite, you're going to want to settle in for today's episode. Because what we just saw in the House Oversight Committee is the absolute definition of why Americans are losing faith in their government. Today, we're breaking down the fireworks between Representative Nancy Mace and Hunter Biden himself. I'm going to give you my honest reaction because the American people deserve to hear it straight, not sugar-coated by the liberal media.
He complied with the subpoena.
We would have
expired.
We would have loved that.
Do any other members wish to be heard? Chair recognizes Ms. Mace from South Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Chairman Comer. First of all, my first question is, who bribed Hunter Biden to be here today? That's my first question. Second question, you are the epitome of white privilege, coming into the Oversight Committee, spitting in our face, ignoring a congressional subpoena to be deposed. What are you afraid of? You have no balls to come up here and...
Mr. Chairman, point of inquiry.
Mr. Chairman,
If
the ladies recognize...
If the gentlelady wants to hear from Hunter Biden, we can hear from him right now, Mr. Chairman. Let's take a vote and hear from Hunter Biden. What are you afraid of?
Hold on. Order.
Are women allowed to speak in here or no? Are women allowed to speak in here or no? Could you keep interrupting me?
I'll interrupt the chairman. I don't know that he's a lady.
I think that that Hunter Biden should be arrested right here, right now, and go straight to jail. Our nation is founded on the rule of law.
Come on.
And the premise that the law applies equally to everyone, no matter what your last
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. Point of order.
It doesn't matter who you are.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. Biggs over here.
Donald Trump Jr.
Biggs over here.
State your point, Mr. Biggs.
Yeah, my point of order is this. Are we going to continue on with this blatant interruption? This is absurd and inappropriate. I intend to give my statement. I don't intend to have anybody interrupted. I'm not going to interrupt your statements. I think you should have decorum and courtesy and don't act like a bunch of nimrods.
You just interrupted a woman.
And that's five.
I got permission.
Can we agree everyone has
Mr.
5
Chairman,
minutes? Can we agree?
Point of order again. The assertion that I interrupted was absolutely false. That's typical of the gentleman who spoke it. I got permission to speak from the chairman. I spoke. I was interrupted yet again by the gentleman who doesn't choose to go through the chair and follow proper order. I encourage us, I think if we're going to have any respect at all, we need to have proper decorum.
Well said.
I'd like to finish.
The rules are everyone's going to be recognized for 5 minutes. Anyone that wants to be recognized will be recognized for 5 minutes. Ms. Mace has 4 minutes and 13 seconds left. Chair recognizes Ms. Mace.
It does not matter who you are, where you come from, or who your father is, or your last name. Yes, I'm looking at you, Hunter Biden, as I'm speaking to you. You are not above the law at all. The facts in this case are crystal clear. This committee used and issued a lawful subpoena to Hunter Biden, a critical witness in this committee's investigation into Biden family corruption. Hunter Biden and his lawyers did not claim privilege of any kind because clearly he has none. They didn't contest the legitimacy of our reasons for issuing this subpoena, no reasons, because they clearly are legitimate. And yet he refused to comply. Trump's family members, Don Trump Jr., he did not defy a congressional subpoena. He showed up multiple times for multiple depositions for several hours. In doing so, Hunter Biden broke the law. He did so deliberately. You did so flagrantly. You showed up on the Hill, on the Senate side, the day of that congressional subpoena to defy it and spit in the face of this committee. That's what you did. The question the American people are asking us is, what is Hunter Biden so afraid of? Why can't you show up for a congressional deposition? You're here for a political stunt. This is just a PR stunt to you. This is just a game that you are playing with the American people. You're playing with the truth Hunter Biden wasn't afraid to sell access to Joe Biden to the highest bidder when he was in elected office. He wasn't afraid to trade on the Biden brand, peddle influence, and share those ill-gotten gains with members of his family, including Joe Biden. He wasn't afraid to compromise the integrity of the presidency and vice presidency by involving Joe Biden in shady business deals with our foreign adversaries. But Hunter Biden, you were too afraid to show up for a deposition, and you still can't today. I believe that Hunter Biden should be held completely in contempt. I think he should be hauled off to jail right now, because it wasn't long ago, too, my friends on the other side of the aisle, that you also believed in the power of a congressional subpoena. Not long ago at all. You believed in holding those who refuse to comply with a congressional subpoena accountable. And I stood with each and every one of you. I am the only member in this room today who has held a member of my own party in contempt of Congress for not showing up for a subpoena. And I see nothing but complete hypocrisy on the other side of the aisle. The ranking member of this committee even so eloquently put it, the lesson is, please tell your children out there in America, if you get a subpoena to go before Congress, go. You have a legal responsibility to do so. So the hypocrisy is stunning. What are we to tell our children today? There's nothing the other side can say with a straight face. As the only member of this committee to vote to hold a member of contempt of my own party, let me be clear, this should not be a partisan issue. If Congress issues a subpoena, you show up, period. This is not a responsibility we take lightly. It brings no joy for us to do this, but the president's son broke the law and must be held accountable in the same way anybody else would. I urge my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to do so. And my last message to you, Hunter Biden, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Will the gentlelady yield for a question? Will the gentlelady yield? Will my friend yield from South Carolina?
Sure.
I do want to commend the gentlelady who was the only Republican who stood up and voted to hold in contempt the Republican members of the House who blatantly and categorically refused to comply with subpoenas that came from the bipartisan January 6th committee. I would like to ask my friend, Ms. Mace from South Carolina, whether she's aware of all the case law which says that the committee has to engage in good faith interaction with the witnesses they've called, and they're supposed to arrive at a solution. And what do you think about the fact that the chairman on multiple occasions gave this witness the opportunity to come before the full committee, and he agreed to that?
We issued a congressional subpoena, and I know with your constitutional law background, you know exactly what that means, and he should have showed up. And because of your vote and because of your statements, you should be voting to hold this man in contempt of Congress today, right now, if you're going to be consistent on your own policies and your own words.
Gentlelady's time's expired. Chair recognizes Mr. Moskowitz for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's good to see you after a long break. So I'm listening to the gentlelady from South Carolina about the witness being afraid to come in front of the committee. It's interesting. He's here. He doesn't seem to be too afraid. In fact, for some reason, the chairman, who on multiple occasions invited the witness to come on TV, apparently the chairman wants to pretend like his statements on television or in interviews don't matter, but it didn't happen once, it didn't happen twice, it happened multiple times. The chairman said the witness can choose whether to come to a deposition or to a public hearing in front of the committee. The witness accepted the chairman's invitation. It just so happens the witness is here. If the committee wants to hear from the witness, and the chairman gave the witness that option, then the only folks that are afraid to hear from the witness with the American people watching are my friends on the other side of the aisle. I don't know if there's a proper motion, Mr. Chairman, but I'll make a motion. Let's vote. Let's take a vote. Who wants to hear from Hunter right now, today? Anyone? Come on. Who wants to hear from Hunter?
The motion's out of order. Yeah.
No one. So I'm a visual learner, and the visual is clear. Nobody over there don't want to hear from the witness.
Let's lay it out. Hunter Biden, son of the sitting president, was subpoenaed by Congress, a legal order not a suggestion, not an invitation. He ignored it, flat out. Then he waltzes into the oversight hearing, not because he respects the law, but because he wants a PR moment. Nancy Mace calls him out, right to his face, for spitting on the rule of law, and suddenly the left is crying about decorum and interruptions. You know what? Spare me the pearl clutching. When regular Americans get subpoenaed, we don't get to choose the time and place. We show up, or we go to jail. But if your last name is Biden, apparently you get special treatment. Let's give credit where it's due. Nancy Mace, Republican from South Carolina, took the gloves off. She stared Hunter Biden down and asked the question every honest American wants answered. Who bribed you to be here today? Because it sure as heck isn't about following the law. Then she calls out the elephant in the room. Hunter Biden is the walking, talking definition of white privilege and political privilege. He ignores a congressional subpoena, shows up on his own terms, and expects a standing ovation. Sorry, pal, the American people aren't that stupid. Nancy Mace didn't stop there. She said what nobody else in that chamber had the guts to say. Hunter Biden should be arrested, right there, right now, and hauled off to jail. And I agree. If you or I did what Hunter did, we'd be in handcuffs before we even got back to our car. But if you're the president's son, you get a pat on the back and a prime seat in Congress. Mace hammered home that the law applies to everyone, or at least it's supposed to. She compared Hunter to Donald Trump Jr. Remember all those Democrat witch hunts? Don Jr. showed up for every deposition, sat for hours, answered questions. He didn't hide, and he didn't defy Congress. But when it's a Biden, suddenly it's optional. Folks, this is why people don't trust Congress. There's one set of rules for the Bidens, the Clintons, the Obamas, and a whole other set for you, me, and anyone who doesn't have a D next to their name. And the left has the nerve to call January 6th folks insurrectionists for standing up to government overreach, while they cheer Hunter Biden for thumbing his nose at a congressional subpoena. Now, let's talk about the circus. The Democrats didn't want to hear from Hunter Biden. They didn't want him to answer questions under oath on the record. Why? Because they know the truth is ugly. They know the Biden brand is toxic. Instead, we get interruptions, points of order, cries about decorum, and a chairman who can't keep order in his own committee. At one point, they're bickering about whether women are allowed to speak. Give me a break. This isn't about gender. It's about accountability. And when Representative MTZ, probably Marjorie Taylor Greene, calls their bluff and says, "Let's vote. Let's hear from Hunter now," crickets. Not a single Democrat wants the American people to hear Hunter testify live, on camera. Why not? If he's innocent, let him clear his name. But they know, just like we do, that he isn't. Nancy Mace said it, and I'll say it again. What is Hunter Biden so afraid of? If he has nothing to hide, why dodge the deposition? Why insist on grandstanding in a public hearing instead of answering questions behind closed doors, under oath? I'll tell you why. Folks, because when you're under oath, lying is a crime. And Hunter Biden knows too much has already come out about his shady business deals, the millions flowing in from China, Russia, Ukraine, and the White House connections. He can't keep his story straight. The last thing the Biden family wants is more of their dirty laundry aired in Congress. Let's give Mace credit for something else. She's the only one in that room who's actually held members of her own party in contempt for ignoring subpoenas. That's real leadership. That's consistency. She's not just playing politics. She's standing up for the rule of law, no matter who's in the hot seat. Compare that to the Democrats, who twist themselves into knots defending Hunter while lecturing the rest of us about accountability. Hypocrisy doesn't even begin to cover it. Look, this isn't just about Hunter Biden. It's about the future of our country. If Congress can't enforce its own subpoenas, if the president's family is above the law, then our republic is in real trouble. This is why we fight for fair treatment, for real justice, and for a government that plays by the same rules as the rest of us. So, to Nancy Mace and every member willing to stand up for the truth, thank you. To everyone else protecting the Biden cartel, your day of reckoning is coming. The American people are wide awake, and we won't stop demanding accountability. If you agree that nobody should be above the law, not Hunter Biden, not anyone, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with everyone who's sick and tired of Democrat double standards. Drop a comment below. Should Hunter Biden be arrested for defying a congressional subpoena? Do you think the Biden family is getting special treatment? Let's keep the conversation going. Stay loud, stay proud, and God bless the United States of America.